live. It is Sunday afternoon and I continue with Lord of the Horizon. It's one of Joan Marshall Grant's far memory books. We are now already in part 3 of this book. This is the story of Ra-Ab. We had Ra-Ab before in The Eyes of Horus. Ra-Ab is the character Joan Marshall Grant was in ancient Egypt here. And this chapter was entitled Domestic Scene, and I've read the first part and I continue now. I can never remember feeling more ineffectual than I did when I went to my room late that night. Mary and I had disagreed before, but until now we had never parted without reaching an understanding. I was torn between my loyalty to her and my loyalty to Becket. I tried to show Mary that to part our daughter from her leopard would amount to cruelty, but Mary remained obdurate. Her final words were, "I have allowed myself to be persuaded too often, Ra-Ab. Now I have come to a decision, and nothing you will say can make me change it. Niam has been nothing you say will make me change it. Niam has been hurt. Fortunately not seriously, but it might just as well have been naked. I refuse to risk his life just because you will not make a reasonable view of Becket's excessive affection for an animal, which is an entirely unsuitable pet. You enjoy the feeling that you understand the children better than I do. Fortunately, you have me to protect you from the probable consequences of this over-sentimentality." Mary and I then accused each other of having no sense of proportion. Neither of us had, or we should not have allowed a small disagreement to grow into a quarrel which was agony to us both. Mary had sent Becket to her room as a punishment for having disobeyed her orders to remain there until I reached home. I went down to the storeroom in which the leopard had been shut up. The door was open. Mary had no right to send the animal away without first getting my agreement. I was so angry that I nearly went to Becket's room to comfort her, but realized that this might seem a betrayal of my love for Mary. I went back to my own room and tried to sleep. Dawn found me still awake. I tapped on the shutters of Mary's room, but though I heard her moving about, they remained closed, and she would not answer me. My eyes ached with sleeplessness, and I went down to the swimming pool and dived again and again until my head felt less as though it were filled with millet porridge. I decided that this ridiculous feud must cease, and I went to Becket's room intending to ask her to help me to find a way of ending it. Her room was empty. On the bed, which had not been slept in, was a clay tablet with my name at the top above several rows of hastily formed writing signs. "You and Mother are unhappy because of me. Watchers must be happy. I shall be safe and happy when where I am going. I will send a messenger to tell you when I have arrived. Leopard, monkeys, and dogs go with me. I will send for the other animals. Becket." My first reaction was of anger against Mary. She had driven my daughter out of my house without pausing to consider that her unhappiness would be as great as my own. I burst into her room. I could see that she had been crying, yet even this did not make me soften my bitter news. "You will no doubt be glad to hear that in future your household will no longer suffer disturbance by Becket." "What do you mean?" Her voice was sharp. "She's gone. You will probably never see her again." "She's gone? Where?" "To your first 2 objections I must answer that she is not alone. The steersman of the barge is a watcher. She ran away because she knew she had become the source of strife between her parents. Where she has gone, I don't know. I can only pray that she will find shelter with people who will treat her with more consideration than we have done. We must go to find her at once, Ra-Ab, and bring her back. Something terrible may have happened to her. She may be lost or drowned. There can be nothing more terrible than receiving unkindness from a person you love. We both love her, but we made her unhappy. Now she's gone. Do something, Ra-Ab. Don't just stand there talking. Send people to look for her, to the marshes, the river, everywhere." "I shall not send after her." "And why not?" I should try to treat her with the consideration with which she treated her animals. She always left them free to come and go as they pleased. When she can find it in her heart to do so, she will come back. Until then, we can only pray that she will not always think of our home as a prison. Mary put her hands over her face, and I knew that she was crying bitterly. My anger left me. I felt cold and alone. Mary, I said hesitatingly. Mary, we mustn't quarrel any longer. That's why Becket has gone, so that we shouldn't quarrel. I have failed her, Ra-Ab. I have failed both of you. I have been cruel and selfish and ignorant. And I only did it because I loved her and wanted to protect her. I suppose I was jealous that you understood her so much better than I did, because she was the only person who has ever been able to come between us. Amenemhet and Men-het have always been our children, but she has always been so much more yours than mine. Please, Ra-Ab, will you ever be able to forgive me? Oh, my dear, it is I who should be forgiven. I took her in my arms, and her tears were salt on my lips. Do you think she'll be safe? Oh, Ra-Ab, do you think anything terrible will happen to her? No, I'm sure it won't, I said, with a conviction I was far from feeling. She will probably come back tomorrow, perhaps even today. She may have gone to Royden or to join Amenemhet and Senusert at the house of the captains. Couldn't you send messengers to anywhere you think she might be? Not to look for her, but just to ask if anyone has seen her. Yes, I will do that immediately. Try not to worry, Mary. I expect we shall have news of her before tonight. She may have gone to Chios. I will send down to the river to ask if any of the fishermen have seen her. Tell them to find out whether her boat is at the landing stage. If it has gone, we shall know she has followed the river. Is it windy today? No, there's only a light breeze, so she can't have gone far. You go and send out the messengers. I tell them to be swift, and I'll go to question the household servants, in case any of them heard her go. I held Mary close. She was no longer crying, but she was trembling as though with fever. What shall we do when she comes back? Today or tomorrow? I will tell her I'm so very sorry. I was horrid, and I'll ask her to forgive me. Then I'll ask her to help me find a way by which we can all know peace together. Pray hard, Ra-Ab. Pray very hard that she will want to come back to us very soon, and know that she will be received only with love. So that was the second reading. The next chapter 2 of part 3 is Nomarch's Emissary.